My Kenmore clothes dryer isn't drying our clothes. And while there are a number of issues that could cause that to happen to a clothes dryer, with this one, it's the moisture sensor. And I'm going to show you how to go about fixing that. This Kenmore dryer, it's a 600 series dryer. It's over 15 years old. So it's been around for a while, but it still works. It still works perfectly fine. But it comes with this auto moisture sensing setting. And that just lets you know when it's dry, or it senses when it's dry, and it can turn off then. What's happening now, though, are the clothes that Mrs. Rugged Homestead puts into the dryer aren't drying. Every time she puts it in, even on a time dry setting, like 70 minutes, they're still damp. And it takes 3-4 times of going through a cycle to get it to dry. I'm sensing that it's the auto moisture sensing sensor that's not picking it up. If we open up the dryer, which I did previously, I discovered that my sensor is completely missing. There's supposed to be a piece that goes right on there that senses when the clothes are dry. Because what happens is this thing's going around, the clothes brush up against that sensor, so it gets like the moisture reading from it, and it can tell whether or not it needs to continue drying or not. Without that piece there, it just thinks the clothes are dry, and it stops drying too soon. Why do I not have a piece there? Dunno. What I'm thinking is somehow it got knocked off the drum and was in the laundry. My brother, who lives with us, also does his laundry in here, as does my stepdaughter. So at some point, I think, got knocked off and was in the clothes that were pulled out and was either overlooked or just not knowing what the heck it was tossed away. So what I have to do is open up the back of the dryer to hook it up, because there's a wire that's got to be connected to the sensor. So I'll get all that set up, and I'll show you how to install the moisture sensor in the dryer. So you have to open up the back of your dryer by removing these screws. And there's probably about 6 of them or so, 7. And also disconnect the exhaust hose from the bottom so that this whole back plate can come off. Some dryers, they'll just have 2 separate plates, so you can just take off 1/2 of it and not have to remove the whole thing. Not so with this one. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is take out the plug. On this dryer in particular, these are 1/4-inch nuts or bolts. And there's an interesting thing about 1/4-inch sockets, which I discovered. Both of these are 1/4-inch. See if you can see this on here. I'm not sure if it shows up, but trust me, it says 1/4-inch. As does this one. Yep. It says 1/4-inch right there. Again, trust me, they both say 1/4-inch. Only one of these, though, fits. This one is good, doesn't spin. This one also says 1/4-inch, spins. If anybody knows what the difference is between a 1/4-inch and a 1/4-inch, please let me know in the comments below why 2 1/4-inch sockets aren't a 1/4-inch each. So we're going to use the one that works and then remove all these screws around here. And just a note, there's this screw here as well. There's 3 on this side, 3 on this side. None across the bottom, thankfully, but I still have to remove the hose there, so I'll just loosen up the hose clamp and take it off. But you got an extra screw right here. which attaches to this little panel here that you could remove separately. But to get the panel off, the whole back panel off, you got to take that screw off as well. Another thing, I'm noticing some water on the floor here. Now, we just had about 3 or 4 days of torrential rain, and while it could be a leak, I don't think so. I have French drains all around the perimeter. That's what you can see with this cement here. So I'm pretty sure it's not a leak from outside the house or even coming up from the water table, but rather something with the dryer that it's removing the water from the clothes, but not extracting it elsewise. Something I'll have to look into as I open this up. So you just need a flathead screwdriver. Loosen up this clamp. And then you can take off the hose. And with the hose removed, you can take this piece off. And now this should just slide. Oh, did I forget one? I forgot one. So there are 8 nuts to remove, and now it just comes right off. Now, if this is the first time you're opening this up since you got your machine, there's a good chance there's going to be dust all over everything. When I opened it up to find out, I thought it might have been the thermal switch on this, which is down here. That might have been blown, but since it was putting out heat, I really didn't think it was going to be that problem. It's going to be, everything was covered kind of in lint and stuff like that. But now this is the cover that we have to remove to get to the moisture sensor. While I didn't realize it at the time whether or not my moisture sensor was missing, I thought maybe it just didn't have one at first, since it just seemed so odd that there wasn't any moisture sensor at all. The fact that there was this wire kind of flopping around inside the dryer here, not attached to anything, plus the hole being there in the drum, I realized that the moisture sensor went MIA. So we're going to take off this cover here, and then we'll open it up. But as I was saying, I had wiped everything down the last time, so it's relatively clean now, because it was pretty messy beforehand. And when you open yours up, it very well might be messy as well with lint and dust. So use the opportunity to clean up your machine. And it's actually something that I've now put on my list of things to do every year. Open up the back and clean it out so that it continues operating optimally. One more thing before I open up that cover, I'm going to take out the lint trap here. This, of course, just pulls out, and you would clean it off of the lint. This one has seen better days, and I looked at getting another one, and actually they run like about $50 for a new one of these things. So this will work just fine for a while. When you remove the lint trap, what you have to do, there's 2 screws here. They're a little rusted looking, but this is what holds the chute that that cover actually attaches to. So these are Phillips head screws, and you just have to remove them. And then the cover will be able to be removed. There are 3 screws that hold it in. There's one here, one down here, 4 screws, one here, and then one up here. So you got 4 screws that you remove, and then this whole piece can come off. As you can see, it's now loose and ready to be moved. And one last thing we do before we remove that piece is we have to open up the top of this dryer. And it's really very simple to do. There's two clips, one here and one over here. So you just use a putty knife. Yeah. Okay, that side, yeah, this side gave me trouble last week too. There we go. And now you can see your drum here. So these are the latches. And what you're doing is you're getting your putty knife and you're basically pushing on this piece right here. Not sure how well that's showing up, to help disengage the latch. Maybe it'll show up better over here. So that's what you're disengaging. And now this is just loose and can be removed. This is the other side of it, and last week when I did it, this thing was all caked in lint, but also there was a big hard buildup down here of something. And what I discovered, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen, but what I found was that my wife used to use some beads that would give clothes scent instead of putting like a dryer lint sheet, whatever the heck they're called, into the drum. She was putting these beads, and she was discovering herself that they weren't disappearing as they should. They weren't melting, however they dissolve or whatever. And so she stopped using it, but there was a large buildup right along here, and in a couple other places too. So I recommend not using those types of beads in your dryer. So in theory, it should be a very simple thing. Just take the new moisture sensor, and from the inside of the drum, just snap it into place here. And then on the wire then attaches to one of the leads on the sensor. So this is the moisture sensor. It's a piece of plastic with two metal barrettes in it that should just pop through the other side, and then the wire will hook up to one of those two leads. This is the part number for it, W10816105. I'll leave a link to where I got it from. It took me just 3 days. I found another one, I think on eBay it was, that would take 3 weeks, and it was $10 cheaper. They run about 50 bucks. Surprising considering they look like a piece of crap, really. But you do what you need to. So we'll try and insert it now, and hopefully it works. So the back of the sensor really doesn't look like it snaps so great into those areas there, but we're going to see. Looks like it should go this way since it's curved. So we'll just slide the prongs through the holes and see how it goes. Huh. Snaps right into place. Okay, great. Well, that was easy enough. So as you can see, the prongs come right through here. And I'm not sure which one those prongs are supposed to be hooked up to, but this one's closest, so that's the one I'm going to hook it up to. I don't want to push too hard and pull it out of the thing. Push it out of the hole. Alright, I did anyway. And that's it. I actually had Mrs. Rugged Homestead push on the other side to hold it in place and snapped it in. So I'll put it all back together again just the reverse process of what I did, and then I'll have the wife run a load of clothes through here, and we'll see if that was in fact the problem. With the back on, we can close the lid and just snap it into place. And now we can screw in these two screws. Okay, that's locked in place again. And now we can put the back panel on. In putting the panel on, you just want to make sure this fits over your gas line, and then this slides over the vent exhaust hose connector. That's the technical term. And then the last part is to put this piece back in. There we go. And it's all back together again. Oh, forgot that one. Really, the last piece is putting the lint trap back in. So we just plug it back in and hook up the hose. Okay, with everything set up, I'll put it on 70 degrees and we'll turn it on. There's nothing in there right now, so it's just the drum turning around. And I've got a infrared temperature sensor, so we'll see let it run for a few seconds and then see what the temperature turns up to be. It's been running for about a minute now. I can feel the temperature is warmer in there. Gotta take it off. There we go. Now it's up. It was up to about 90 something there for a second. So yeah, it obviously it's clearing out very quickly, cooling down, but it's almost 90 degrees. So yeah, that was the problem. There's other things that you can check for, the thermal switch, a few other things that might go wrong with the dryer that could cause the igniter to not light. Could be a problem with the igniter. So there's a few issues that could go wrong. If you have a problem like mine where the moisture sensor isn't working, that's how you replace it. And doesn't seem like it's really worth $50 for that piece, but it has it working again. Okay, thanks for watching.